would also support them on issues of strategy. This is where you have decided as a company, this is where you want to go. To go there, you need to do A, B, C, D as a consultant. So all those things have a place. However, I also want to address what you have asked about diversification. To diversify or have areas sometimes which may seem not necessarily very related, sometimes it's just to broaden your mind so that you're not just thinking in one dimension, in one direction. When you look at an issue, you can see, you can look at it from the legal perspective. This is how it will impact on the company. From this other perspective, because some things are legal but not necessarily right. For example, when I'm engaged as a HR a company like this one engages me and tell me, we want you to help us in restructuring, doing HR restructuring. It's very different from when you engage me as a legal advisor to do the same work, because when I come here as a lawyer, I'll look what does the law require. I don't have the HR mind, and therefore, you know, the HR teaches you the issues of human relations. This is a human being you are dealing with. So this person has dependents. So as I'm doing, as a HR, I'm thinking about, if we say that we are sacking Susan, what to the children, the dependents, what will be the impact? As a lawyer, that is none of my concern. I'm looking, the law says that you can remove her because she has failed to perform. So we give her this number, 2 months notice, and I have done my work as a lawyer and you pay me. So, but now when I have all this, as a certified sector, you look at governance. So from a governance perspective, I'm looking at, yes, we are sacking this employee, but from a governance perspective, what is the impact? The impact on the organization, because sustainability of the organization. So you are looking at the holistic aspect of the organization. So that's why sometimes when you diversify, it broadens your knowledge. However, I know there are people also who argue, and they do so correctly also, that maybe the best thing is to be focused on one area and be an expert in that area. So, however, what I would say, even in that diversification, it can be very awkward when I say I am a certified secretary, then I want to diversify also to become a doctor and an engineer. Those are 3 worlds apart. But when you diversify within almost the same radius, it helps you to become a better person in your primary profession. Because in my case, for instance, I'm saying my primary profession is a certified secretary. So anything else I do just to better my primary profession as a certified secretary.
As we were talking to the student, and I realized at some point now we have even come to the career people, because I feel also that I needed that advice on how to know what to do. Like you're saying, I'm not in the office, and now I'm thinking now I want to do a course maybe in the media, and maybe I want also to be an engineer. And at the end of the day, those courses they are going. So I think that's also a good advice for us who are already now in our fields of work. So much wisdom coming at the same time. I really appreciate in that. And maybe just as we conclude, I would want to ask you, if a student is they have already enrolled in their first, second year in the university, and they feel clearly what I'm doing today, I'm not sure I will be able to complete I will not even graduate, because probably they are finding the course, maybe it's hard, or they have realized along the way we made the wrong choice, this is not my calling. Is there a route out when you're already you've not graduated yet? What can you tell them?
Yes, there is a route. Of course, you can always change a course you are doing. However, as I said earlier, the first degree is usually just to lay a broad knowledge base for you. And therefore, unless maybe you're in first year, where I would actually advise you do a career change. But if you're in third year, I would tell you just jikaza kidogo, you finish. Once you finish, by the time, as soon as you come to the job market, it will also help you now to start figuring out exactly what did I want to do. And you can now take, for example, I would say, you see, for me, that time it used to be called JAB, Joint Admission Board, is the one that was admitting students to universities. Now it's called KUSP. So in those days, I was admitted to do BA. That BA, of course, it has helped me, public administration, political science, and communication. It has helped me in my career, but I chose a professional course. So I never, because as a public administrator, I would have gone to BRD all those days, BC, all those. In communication, I would have gone to media, corporate communication in organization. But in addition, I took a professional course. So you fight people. You are doing engineering. Engineering gives you a broad based on so many things. It opens your mind on so many things. But you can decide, I will take a professional course on a certain area, either within engineering or outside, because there are people. I know one of my good friends did engineering, and at the same time he was doing CPA while we are in campus. Today he is a finance director, although an engineer. However, he is a finance director in an engineering company. So this accounting, though that's not what he was doing in the university, he took a professional course in accounting, but is very relevant. The engineering knowledge he had is very relevant when you bring it together, especially in the context of the organization which he is working for. So that's what I would say. Don't be limited by the first degree finish, but it can help you, and not only in the university, even the diplomas. Because the other thing I would want to tell young people is that if you're in high school, I would encourage you work very hard to go to the university. It's very important. However, should you fail to get it, and we cannot all fit in the university, don't kill yourself and don't be stressed because you never managed to go to the university. There are so many other courses out here. I have just told you one of them, like the one I have done, CPS. You don't require to have gone to the university. There are CPA, there are quite a number of courses outside here that you can do, and you can be relevant, and you can, the dream that you have, you can utilize it in a TVET institution, and you can achieve the dreams that you have.
And maybe give us a closing remarks, and I must say, wow. I'll just say, wow.
Thank you. I think mine is just to emphasize where I started, because to me, issues of faith are very central. God is at the center of my life. Whether you are talking of family, whether you are talking of career, whether you are talking of everything, I consider God the center of my life. And therefore, no matter the advice that I may get, and I seek a lot of advice. I have surrounded myself with people that I always consult. I read books, not only because of exams, because I'm one of those, I would say, lifetime students, never in school. Not only but general books, they give me a lot of knowledge. They help me see things differently. However, all that notwithstanding, the central place for me is God. And therefore, whichever decision I want to make, whether it's if I want to make a decision on, when I wanted to make a decision on who to marry, and all that, whether I want to make a decision on even that career, I have always found the place of prayer, trusting in God to be very centered. So I want to encourage the young people. This is the best time. If you believe in God, you are very lucky. If you don't, I would actually encourage you, put your trust in God. And also I want to encourage you that God has a purpose for you. You were created for one purpose, and not many of us were created for too many purposes. I gave the analogy of a seat. A seat, I don't know, other than sitting on it, I don't know what other purposes it has. Not many of us have many purposes. So seek God to reveal to you that purpose. Why did He create you? Now once you seek the will of God, it will make your life very easy. You stop living guesswork. You are trying this, after you get in the middle, you realize it's not working, you switch. It will save a lot of your energy, a lot of your pains. So put your trust in God, seek the face of God. But trusting in God and praying does not negate your role. Because if you are in school, for example, and you went and prayed for 14 days, prayer and fasting, and you don't read, God will not come to your desk and open the biology book for you and read for you. You fail properly. You get a D, only that it will be a blessed D. You will be a fool, although you still love God. So do your part. God will never do your part. Do your part, read where you are supposed to read. Seek for advice where you are supposed to seek for advice. And in addition, trust in God, seek for God's direction. I think that's what I would want to encourage the young people. And lastly, is sometimes, especially in high school, and I look back some of the people that we schooled together, people get distracted by so many things, Sometimes drugs, sometimes for us, we were in a boys' school, as women, girls, those things which are very temporal. Yet you live to regret the entire of your life because of one single mistake that you did. Sometimes it's peer influence. Know that whatever you are doing, if you are currently 17 years or 15 years or thereabout, and assuming God gives you 90 years in this world, you have more than 70 years to live in this world. So 4 years in high school, or 4 years in college, or 4 years in the university can either make or break your life. So it's very important you invest wisely in those 4 years, because they will determine what you eventually be. And therefore, the choices you make, be very careful, because you either regret the entire of your life because of the 4 years, or you live to give a testimony because of the choices you make. And finally, is to say that success is not all about careers, is not all about, so while you are in school, find other things that can build you up. And those things you come to count later in your work life. For example, when I was in college, I was very active in the Christian Union. And we travel all the countries going to preach in some very remote places of this country. I can assure you, I traveled more when I was in college, only for the 4 years, than the combined more than 10 years since I left college. And especially, maybe now I have traveled more, I have traveled more, but maybe to the affluent, whichever cities. By that time, I traveled more in the remote areas. And I was able to interact with the people on the ground more. And I was able to understand a lot of, so take advantage of that. And that has a place. It influences me in my day-to-day decision, even as a leader. As I'm making a decision, I know this decision has an impact not only on the affluent, but also there is somebody else down there. So it makes me a better leader. So I would encourage the young people, take advantage of those clubs you have in school. They have been put there for a reason. The Christian Union, the Catholic Action, all those groups that are there in school, wherever possible, you have games, involve yourself in them, because again, you can get from school AAA, but you become a useless person in the society. Who cannot interact with people, because you are those in high school used to call them bookwormers. The only thing you know is books, 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 nothing else. You need to be a whole person, not just about grades. Thank you very much.
So much. Our viewers, we normally say here in Suzie Yule Diadem that we grow holistically, and that's why we bring different people with different topic, and that's why we discuss different things, and that is the call I'm hearing with JN, that we are supposed to be holistic being. You don't just concentrate on just one area, but you are supposed to get knowledge and to get acquainted with so many other things that are happening around you. So here we shall keep on growing holistically. We shall talk about love, we shall talk about career, we shall talk about social life, all these things we shall talk here. So that's why you need to subscribe if you've not subscribed. Please share this message with someone else. Let's all learn together. Thank you.